Everyone has an amazing story, and it's the story of their journey, and everyone starts from the moment they're born. But lots of things happen on our path that bring us to stages in our lives. And one of those experiences started when I was 35. I had a dream, and in this dream I met the holiest man in the world, and I wanted to find him. It took me 12 years to find him, and then I spent 5-10 years with him. Not all the time in India, but there he gave me my name, my spiritual name, Swami Aliananda Paramahansa. And so it started from a dream. I was 35. I had 3 children living in Cornwall. And in this dream was a dusty road. And standing by the road were all these Indians, and they were lined up. And I said, "Why are you here?" And they said, "We're here to see the holiest man in the world." And in this dream I said, "Oh, I'd love to see him." And they all lined up, and from the right was carried this lovely person, shoulder high, in a basket, with sides on this basket. He was sitting inside this basket, and I couldn't see him that clearly. And the next part of the dream was I was walking up to this holy man. And as I was walking to him, I started to cry. And I looked at him and I said, "Will I ever see you again?" And he said, "I'll never leave you." And from that, being told he's the holiest man in the world, he'll never leave me, when I awoke, I went to a shop in Penzance and started looking for him. It was a bookshop that had esoteric books, holy books, all about the masters and saints of the Himalayas, all about the holy men of the world. And I went in there and I found this book, Autobiography of a Yogi, by Paramahansa Yogananda. And in that book, I saw this Mahavatar Babaji, and he was my master, and he was calling me. So here I am, a Cornish mother, been on the path all my life, but now I was called to the Himalayas. How do I find him, the holiest man in the world? Well, it takes tenacity, it takes courage, it takes endeavor. And that's what you have to change yourself, to change your life. You have to be brave. You have to go against all odds. You have to be able to move and be disappointed and try. And so I started looking for him. I went to India once again looking for him, and I thought he'd be there. And he wasn't there. And this was 11 years I'd been looking for him. During that time, looking for him, I became a Reiki master and traveled to America also to learn Reiki. And so then I decided in my home to have a retreat and teach Reiki, which I was doing. And I had a student, and she was having breakfast, and she said, "Oh, I see you're a devotee of Sai Baba." So I said, "No, I'm looking for Babaji. He's my master." She said, "My son-in-law's parents are with somebody called Babaji in India, and the mother needs healing, and she's gone there to have healing, and she's spending time there." So I rang him, and he said, "Yes, she's with somebody called Babaji, and here's his number, and try and ring him, see what happens." And this man answered, and he said, "Well, I've got a number for an ashram." And I took this number and I rang India. And I said, "Is that Babaji's ashram? Mahavatar Babaji's ashram?" He said, "Yes, Babaji speaking." I said, "Oh my word." I said, would you teach me Kriya Yoga, please? He said, yes, you come, but you're not ready to come yet. Your body isn't ready and you must have some healing. So he said, call me in 2 weeks' time. So I dropped the phone. It was a very short conversation. And then the doorbell went and this young man arrived that I hadn't seen for a long time. And he was doing the healing practice of the Alexander technique. And I had healing from him, and it's all about the structure of the spine and your whole body. And so it was a very important thing to align me, which I didn't think about at the time. And Kriya Yoga is all about the spine and the energy rising in you. And so I had the treatments, other treatments. I rang again, Babaji answered the phone. He said, you're ready now, come. I flew to India, got in the car, and drove up the road for 8 hours to the Himalayas. The next day I went in and I met Babaji, and he walked towards me and he said, you've been looking for me for 12 years, which I had, and now I've called you. And so that was the start of our journey together. And then I learnt Kriya Yoga there with him. I went on pilgrimage with him in that visit. And the journey is still continuing, even now as I speak to you.